The Ryan Goodman and Tanguay podcast is brought to you by FanDuel, the exclusive wagering partner of the CLNS Media Network. Hey everybody, the band is back together. Welcome to the Bob, Ryan, Jeff Goodman, Tanguay Along for the Ride podcast. And this episode is brought to you by FanDuel, the exclusive wagering partner of the CLNS Media Networks. FanDuel right now, second half of baseball about to get underway. They are America's #1 sports book. So make sure you catch up on the MLB and get the FanDuel, America's #1 sports bet. Check them out, FanDuel.com/Boston, if you haven't signed up already. Okay, guys, I'm a little nervous on the Jaylen Brown thing. Bob, I'll start with you on this. Here's the latest. They say, according to Himmelsbach, your colleague with the Globe, Adam, that a 5-year max is on the table, and everybody's fine with that. But the hang-up is a potential no trade and a 5th-year player option. Are you concerned about this getting done? And should it get done? Should he get a 5-year max?
There's several layers here. And the last one. Under the rules, the way the game's being played, the way that the system has, is codified, he's certainly eligible for the 5-year max. I wish he weren't on the basis of making second team all NBA. That should strictly be their decision. But the problem for me ultimately is we assume, I think we all assume he thinks he's as good as Tatum, and he's not. And that so in a real common sense world that we abandoned a long time ago in all pro sports with regard to money and who gets paid what and what the pecking orders are and why guys get paid when they get paid, which is timing a lot of times. Blah 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 blah. Yeah, no, he's not worth the max, but out of context, he's not worth the max. He's very good, but he's not that good. Although he thinks he's that good, the way I understand it. Now
they all think they're that good, Bob.
All right, there's the other thing. They don't maybe look at it. I think we all seem to feel there's a window here. This is they're squandering an opportunity. This is year 2 for sure, maybe year 3 of a window that is open to them. And in order to fulfill the destiny, they need him. And they can't just let him. They need him, so they're going to have to grudgingly give him the max. Okay, I understand that, and I think it's going to get done. I mean, I still can't believe that it won't get done. So, but but in my world, he'd be number 2 in a pecking order, and he wouldn't get the same amount of money. He wouldn't get a max, but that world doesn't exist.
I think he's probably. I wrote down a bunch of players last week, and it'd be interesting, Bob, if you did the same thing. Mm-hmm. I think he's like the 25th best player, in my opinion, in the NBA, somewhere around there. And for a year, he's going to have probably the richest NBA contract in history for a year. And then somebody else will get it next year. And it won't kick in for a year. I don't think they have much of a choice here. The only thing, if I'm Brad Stevens, and maybe he's doing this, I'm slow playing the hell out of this. Because I don't know with Dame Lillard here where that's headed, right? Like, obviously, they haven't found the deal they're looking for. Dame wants to go to Miami. Maybe just wait another week and just see, all right, does Joe Cronin get a little bit desperate? And I know Dame doesn't really want to come, but he only wants to come to Miami right now. Like, that's one team. If I'm Portland, I'm trying to get the best deal, and the best deal could involve Jaylen Brown, even though – that may not be exactly what they want, but to me, actually, I think Portland, Jaylen Brown fits in a lot of ways. They've got some good young guards. Jaylen Brown's a lot younger than Dame. I actually think the core of that trade, and I don't know how it's made, because, again, if you're Portland, you have to almost have a deal in place with Jaylen, right? You're going to have a deal in place because his deal's up in a year that you're going to sign him to a long-term deal. It's risky from their end. But if you're taking one guy for the next 2 years, I'm not the window, like you said, you're playing in like 2-3 year windows here because guys can request trades whenever the hell they want. Who do you want for the next 2 years that gives you the best opportunity to win the NBA title? To me, it's clear. It's clear as hell. It's Dame Lillard as long as he stays healthy.
Yeah, there's no argument. He's it.
Right.
And I think it's a good point by you, Jeff. That Brad doesn't have to hurry. Why should he? I mean, there's no gun to his head. I mean, He's had conversations. He knows, Jaylen knows that they're willing to pay him, but he's going to wait and see what happens here. What about the potential no trade? Is that a hang up?
Can't do that. No chance. You're Jaylen Brown. You just saw what happened with Bradley Beal and how his trade value went down significantly because that's off the table. That's non-negotiable if I'm Brad Stevens.
Unless you have a deal set up with, well, how do you do that with Portland? You don't sign the deal. You let him make the deal with Portland and you
Correct.
Trade.
That's right.
Let me ask you this, Jeff, with regard to back up with the Miami quest. Can you see any way Miami could possibly satisfy them? I mean, Tyler Hero is not the answer.
There's got to be a third team. I mean, it's not. Tyler Hero is not the answer. So there has to be a third team involved. I think that's what they've been looking for here, and they haven't been able to find it.
Okay, because as it stands now, Miami simply doesn't have anything to give them that they would.
And here's the other thing, guys. Here's the other thing. And this hasn't been talked about enough, but these first round picks right now in the next 2 years, I have seen these last two. I was just out on the road and I saw the senior high school class. I saw this year's freshman class a year ago. Okay. They are two of the most underwhelming classes you will ever find at the top. And there's no Victor Wembanyama coming from across the water either. Like, there is nobody right now that you are tanking for. It's completely underwhelming for 2 years in a row, potentially, until, and we'll talk about this later in the pod, until guys like Cooper Flagg and Carlos Boozer's son and AJ Dybantsa, he gets to the NBA draft.
All right. It's very good to know.
Stay tuned, but I
know.
appreciate Jeff Goodman's theory on that because that makes sense for the slow play. Take your first swing at betting MLB on FanDuel and get 10 times, that's 10 times your first bet amount of bonus bets and up to $200. Just bet $20 and you'll land $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. That's $200 you could spend betting everything from the money line to the over-under to who you think is going to be, well, hitting the first home run. All in the app that's safe, secure, it's super easy to use. Plus, when you win, you get paid instantly. There's no better place to bet on MLB than FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. So sign up today and visit FanDuel.com/Boston and get up to $200 in bonus bets. That's FanDuel.com/Boston. FanDuel, official partner of Major League Baseball. Okay, Bob, let's get to Wembanyama. As he had the second highest rated summer league game, second to
Zion.
Geez, spaced it. To Zion in 2019. 1.6 million people, Bob, watched a summer league game with this guy. Is he the real deal?
Oh, he's going to be. I mean, we've said two. The first look was obviously underwhelming, and if you went in out of context to watch that first game, in which he scored 9 points at 2 for 13 from the floor, and lost the ball a few times, you'd say, well, there's nothing special, right? He just happened to be tall, But you saw now you go in looking for things because you have a preconceived notion. You see the ball handling dexterity. You file away the first basket he ever made as a professional in America. Incredible left hand twisting off the glass, body contortion, body control, shot that no 7-footer that I grew up with ever would have made. And you see the first pass he made was a beautiful dish. A beautiful dish. You could see, and if you see, if you're looking to see, does he have great court vision as advertised? Yes, he has great court vision as advertised. All right, but it was underwhelming to a degree. He had one great block. Okay, second game, you start to see more. And first of all, as many people have said, and I think Jeff would agree, the defense is going to come first in terms of a major impact. I think as very likely. I have a prediction that he will lead in a new category. Most blocked 3-pointers, because guys are, I mean it. Yeah. Guys are going to be launching threes, and thinking he's off the radar screen, and they're going to eat the ball, or it's going to get deflected at best, at worst. His range is maybe unprecedented. He's got an 8-foot wingspan, and And he's 7'3" with long arms for 7'3". There have been guys who were 6'11" that had short arms. I remember when Jeff Rulin came into the NBA, his nickname the team gave him was Flipper, because he had such short arms at 6'11". So I'm just saying this there ain't no Flipper here, and there's Swatter, and so anyway, I can see what they were touting. The form is beautiful on the shot. The whole package. Yeah, I can see what people are talking about. It's going to be wonderful. Now, I still say, I said this here, but what is it ultimately? It's a bigger version of Giannis, I think, but a little more, maybe a little more edge, a little more creativity, passing, and all that. But basically, if you want to look for a comparison, it's a bigger version of Giannis with extraordinary passing ability.
He's got right. I think and he can block shots at such a high rate. And I think honestly, Bob, the other thing is he's got the potential to be a good 3-point shooter. Like Giannis, I don't know if he's ever going to be a guy that you want to guard out there. Like I could see Victor, if he really works at it, being a guy who shoots, 37, 38% from three. And if he can do that, man, like the only thing you worry about to me with Victor is the physicality.
The body. We'll get to that right now. That the biggest thing, of course, is that right now is worrying about the body. That body worries you. He's a little stronger than people think. Weighs a little more than you think. We'll get to the other guy, by the way. There was a Jeff Holmgren sighting over the weekend. And you're talking now. Now we're talking skinny. But all right. Well, as long as I'm here, I might as well do it.
Yeah, go ahead.
I saw what they said. What I remember, some of the things I remember about Holmgren. We had a vision of Holmgren. Gonzaga is like a TV darling. If you cared about basketball, if you claimed to have been a college basketball fan, you had to have seen Jeff Holmgren play 2 years ago, because Gonzaga is available to you all the time. And I can see that he looks like he's exactly as we remember him. He's don't forget him. And he's going to be a very interesting guy to watch. But assuming somebody doesn't break him in half along the way.
I forgot, even me, and I saw him as a high school player and then at Gonzaga, several times in person. And even me, I kind of forget how good and much fun he was to watch. Mm-hmm. Like he's got a lot of Victor in him.
He does, no question.
He's kind of a, similar version of Victor in a lot of ways, but you worry about his body even more because he's got kind of that inverted chest a little bit. And Victor, I think, could put on weight a whole lot easier than Chet, but Chet can do a lot of the same things as Victor. And he's got some shit to him. Like that's the other thing with Chet people forget about. He's got some shit to him. So Oklahoma City, I give Sam Presti credit, all those picks and everything like that, and kind of mortgaging the franchise for years there. They got a star in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, some other really good young pieces right now. It's going to be interesting to see. We got to get their coach on, by the way. I know him a little bit, Mark Dagnall.
Uh-huh.
I think I told you guys he was a local guy, and he was Billy Donovan's he was like special assistant to the head coach for a couple of years. And when he was hired as the Oklahoma City Thunder head coach, like everybody's like, who is this dude? He was the G League coach, promoted, and he's done a hell of a job with these young guys.
By the way, we have to mention that the Spurs are, I think, wisely shutting down Wembanyama now. Yeah. He doesn't need these games, and training. And he's played a lot of ball. Give him go take a vacation, young man. For a while, he's played a lot of ball in the last year. He just got through playing the French league just before that. Right up to the day of the draft, almost right, the day before. So I mean, he needs a break. And
by the way, Dagnall, going back to him real quick.
Yeah,
this is why we got Leominster High School, guys. Leominster High School.
I wound up sitting at the pregame meal this year. I guess I don't know. It was a relative. Maybe it was dad. I don't know. And I did that. When they were in town. Yeah, I didn't realize the connection. I was not. I didn't know anything about Mark Daigneault at the time.
There are more people from New England involved in the NBA in one way or another than I ever would have imagined.
Yeah, a lot. You'll have two more coming up, two more players.
All right, we'll get to that.
About that. We'll be involved in the NBA soon.
Okay, now let's get to Bob Huggins. Just to recap what's gone on with Huggy. He committed a racial slur within the last 6 months, was suspended for that. Then he received a DUI. Then in June, a letter of resignation was submitted. Now, Jeff, I'll start with you on this because you know him well. He has come out and said he never wrote that letter. He did not resign. He is maintaining he is still the coach of West Virginia.
Yeah, from what I was told, he did not want to resign. Shortly after, he got pulled over for like a .21, didn't want to resign, but eventually there was a letter sent, I think, through his sister's email or his wife's email, a letter of resignation, and now he's in a rehab right now, guys. He's in a 60-day rehab right now. And it comes out that he's saying he didn't resign. I mean, obviously, I think we can figure out that this is for money more than anything else. He's trying to recoup some of the money. He's got 1 year left. His contract was revised after he made the remarks on the radio a couple months ago to where I think it was a 1 year deal. So he's got probably $3 million coming to him. My guess is he wants that $3 million. He hired a lawyer from Cleveland. And it just, you know what? It just further tainting his legacy at this point.
Well, he's a complicated guy. Problem. He's just a complicated guy. Look,
I love Huggins. I'll admit it. I really like Huggins. And if you talk to anybody in the industry, they'll say the same thing. He's flawed, but they love him too because of everything he's done for, like I was with DeMar Johnson, who played for him at Cincinnati, who's now the West Virginia assistant coach. I was with him this past weekend, talking to him for a while. And it's just sad. It's sad right now because, again, he had a chance if he had played his cards right. Just got in the Hall of Fame a year or so ago. He had a chance to go out the right way. And now it's like, this is what people are going to remember Bob Huggins for, this shit show at the end of his career because, again, of these off-the-court issues, it's sad.
That will be the lead in his obit. The references to his demise. It'll be and I can see it now that he's definitely done that. Apparently, according to the lawyer, what I read is that technically speaking, the in his contract is that in order to resign, there would have to be a registered mail sent and a couple of very formal things, not emails.
I mean, he should have been fired at this point.
Hanging their hat on. That's what they're hanging their hat on. And he's not going to get the job back, and it's all about. How much of the settlement? There's no one.
Well, I mean, I'm sure the settlement is there, and you're right, Jeff. The guy he could have easily been let go with the racial slur. I'm surprised he wasn't at the time. It was just a suspension. But, there's also, I'm sure the money has something to do with it. I don't know Huggins. I've just observed him. You know him better than me. He just strikes me as the type of guy that, money aside, is, yes, I screwed up, but I'm not going out like this. Like, I could see him taking another job.
I just don't know who else is going to hire him.
Well, it would be like
he's 70 years old.
It would be like a junior college somewhere, or it would be some. You know what I mean?
He could. He started, I think, Walsh University.
I can't see. Like the thing of it is that I always found about these guys.
Yeah.
The
biggest thing for Hugs.
What do they do? What do they
get out of his rehab?
Yeah,
he's got to get out of rehab and be okay there, so he doesn't put him and other people at risk by drinking and driving again. But I just the other part of this is everybody's worried. Like if somebody not from the Bob Huggins tree got the job, that he would go after him. He would get his money people. Right. He's got a lot of money people giving money for NIL right now. He would pull all those people. Well, instead, the assistant got the job. So his whole staff is still there. So it further complicates and baffles me why he's doing this. Go quietly. They gave the job, at least on an interim basis, to your group. So everybody kept their jobs. Again.
And it's not like you can say, what I did wasn't all that bad. What he did was horrifying.
It was.
Everybody so lucky that no one else got hurt. No one got hurt. Yep. He didn't know where he was. He was blocking traffic, and it was bad, real bad.
Well, it's totally.
You can't walk away from that and look for and say, "Oh, forgive me." No, it does not. That simple.
No, but I just guys like that. Like I can just see him. Obviously, the school had to do this. I think the school was very lenient. They could have let him go before this.
Well,
guys like that, just, I could see you coaching in a men's league somewhere. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But hopefully,
look, it's the alma mater. It's the whole big picture package that is Bob Huggins, and back. It's not like he's coaching at Oklahoma State. He's coaching at the alma mater, and he is associated himself with it. And he's talking even now. The word love, came up. Love the program I love. I read this one today.
Do you remember him as a player, Bob?
I don't remember him as not at all. Okay. I don't remember him as a player. Okay. I discovered him, when he was making a move up, and from reading Blue Ribbon magazine. That's how I discovered Huggy.
Hey, now that it's summer, you might be looking for wholesome, convenient meals for sunny, active days. Factor, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kit, can help you fuel up fast with flavorful and nutritious ready-to-eat meals delivered straight to your door. You'll save time, eat well, and stay on track at reaching your goals. Too busy with summer plans to cook, though? Well, make sure you remain on course and eating well. With Factor, you can skip the grocery store and skip the chopping, prepping, and cleaning up too, while still getting the flavor and nutritional quality you need. Factor's fresh, never frozen meals are ready in just 2 minutes. All you have to do is heat and enjoy, then get back outside and soak up this warm weather. Elevate eating at home with our new upscale surf and turf. It's surf and surf meal options like roasted garlic filet mignon and shrimp, and Cajun spiced shrimp and salmon. And also budget-wise, it's very good too. Cut back on takeout, get Factor instead. Factor is not only cheaper than takeout, but the meals are ready faster than restaurant delivery in just 2 minutes. So head to factormeals.com/scribe50 and use your code SCRIBE50 to get 50% off your first box. That's code SCRIBE50 at factormeals.com/scribe50 to get 50% off your first box. Let's move on to Jeff's week. I correctly assumed he was on vacation. He was not.
He
was continuing the grind.
If you watch AAU basketball, you'd know I was not on vacation.
No, you weren't. No. And I was quick side note. I was talking to a parent the other day, and we both laughed how our sons played AAU basketball. We were talking about we could do a podcast, guys, on the whole business of youth sports. We got into this discussion about the club versus the team, the money involved, the money that I've spent, the money that parents think they got to spend. And we laughed at AAU. You go, yeah, remember when our two kids were in AAU basketball? Oh, please. It was a joke. So you were down there. What do we got? You got some New England kids.
Yeah. So it's insane that I'm saying this. And I tweeted it the other day. The top 2 players in the country, regardless of age right now, you can make a case right now from New England. Number 1. So going in, it was like a 2-horse race. Cooper Flagg, 6'8", 6'9" from Maine. He goes to Montverde Academy now in Florida. He is an unbelievable. What town is he from in Maine again?
What town is he from?
Newport, Maine. Newport, Maine.
Oh, yeah. It's about 80 people. I broke down in Newport, Maine once. I swear to God, it's got 80. I sweher to God. It's right next door where I went to college. And it literally has 80 people. Go ahead.
So he's fascinating because, at first look, you're like, oh, he looks like Larry Bird. Like he's got that type of body, right? But he's super athletic, an incredible shot blocker, average 10 blocks a game. And he's 6'8", 6'9", maybe. Not a great shooter. Good enough, but not an elite shooter. Unbelievable passer. Unbelievable handle. So he kind of just runs the team and does everything for him. But, he produces every single game. He is just I don't know of the comparison for Cooper Flagg because, again, he rebounds at an elite level. He passes at an elite level. He blocks shots at an elite level. He doesn't have to shoot it from 3. 6'8", athletic as hell. So he's one. And then Carlos Boozer has twins. Now, the interesting part, too, is Flagg has a twin, Ace. They're not identical. Ace is probably a mid-major player, guard, played well. And then the other top player is Cameron Boozer, 6'9", 220, 4-man, skill, tough, all of it. And he's got a twin brother, too, Caden, not identical. and Caden's a little higher ranked. He'll go high major. So those were the two top players coming in, and both in the 2025 class, which means they're going to be juniors this year.
Oh, wow.
Caden's from Florida. Well, now there's a new top player in the country, and it's a kid named AJ Dybantsa. Okay, and AJ is 6'9", 6'8", 6'9", and he hails from the city of champions, the city of boxing champions, the city that Rocky Marciano and Marvin Hagler made famous, Brockton, Mass. I was just down there 2 days ago visiting with him for about an hour or two, and not only he's a special player. I mean, he is long, athletic, skilled, and a year ago, I was sitting courtside watching him. He was 15 at the time, and I'm watching him with John Shire, the then Duke first-year head coach, and he was like a complete tease. You could see the talent, but he didn't play well at all. And a year later, fast forward, he plays up. So he's 2026 class. So he's going into his sophomore year, but he's playing up with the under 17s. Now, Flagg and Boozer are playing in the under 16s. And Dybantsa leads the NBA camp a week or two ago in scoring and leads the Peach Jam under 17s in scoring. So now the production has caught up to the potential. And this kid is absolutely, he averaged about 26 points a game. And he is special. He is absolutely, he's got to put on some weight. He's got to improve his 3-point shot. But this kid has everything, and he works his ass off. Like when I was there, he had already done 2 workouts for the day, and it was, 2 o'clock. And he was going to another once I finished sitting down with him. So he said, I have no life whatsoever. All I want to do is play ball. So he's hyper-focused on the right things. His dad is a Boston University police officer from the Congo. And his dad's all about work ethic and hard work and toughness. And so is his mom. And I love the kid. I love the kid because he's really matured. He said, and if you had seen me 4 or 5 years ago, 3, 4 years ago, he said, you might not have liked me because I have bad body language. I pouted, I complained, and now he makes people better too. So he's a name again. AJ Dybantsa, you're going to need to know that name. He'll probably be the number 1 pick in a couple of years. He may reclassify also into 2025. He's going all the way out to Prolific Prep this year in Napa Valley.
Love that name. I always laugh every time I hear that name, Prolific Prep.
Yes.
Question for you. What, if anything, should we read into the USA under-19s finishing 4th in the World Championship, losing to France and Turkey?
Yeah, it's a bad roster.
In the bronze medal game.
Yeah, the roster wasn't very good. Again, sometimes you get into this where, some of the best players don't play in those.
No, I just wondered what kind of roster we had to lose. Losing to France shocked me, but I wasn't ready to lose to Turkey for the.
No, part of the problem is especially this year. So under 19, you're getting a lot of college kids, right? You're going to get a lot of the college players. Well, some of the college coaches don't want their kids to play in that. Especially, you've got this year is the biggest year ever for foreign tours. There's almost 100 teams because of COVID, and they weren't able to take them. Yep. Almost 100 teams, which is like almost double a normal year, are going on foreign tours. They all go in August. Mm-hmm. So I think a lot of these coaches, they want their kids on campus for team chemistry, whatever, because so much turnover takes place right now because of the portal. They want their kids, if they can, on campus. So they dissuade them a little bit playing for some of them, dissuade them from playing on these under 19 teams. So it was a very underwhelming roster.
Okay.
There you go. All right, guys, great stuff. We'll do it again next week. Any final thoughts?
No.
Yeah, good to have you back, my friend.
No, but the best Cooper in a few years might not be Cup. It might be Flagg.
All right, I'll keep that in mind.
Newport, Maine, baby. Newport, Maine. I'll tell you, if this kid makes it, there's going to be a huge sign right there.
They might as well put it up now. Hey, they might as well put it up right now.
And Dysart's truck stop right there. Newport, Maine. But I'm telling you, if this Bob loves Maine, he goes up, he loves, like, he's been in my hometown. Bob, you would love Newport, Maine. Trust
All right,
me.
I'm going to check it out. All right.
All right, dude. We'll see you guys. Okay, this episode of the podcast with Bob Ryan and Jeff Goodman, Tanguay along for the ride, brought to you by FanDuel, the exclusive wagering partner, the CLNS Media Network.